So recently I googled how old is Keanu Reeves. He is 54. I can't believe that. He is in his 50s and is still kicking butt. The Baba Yaga is back for a third time in John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, like the first two, is directed by Chad Stahelski, starring Keanu Reeves and Halle Berry joining the cast. The plot this time is that it takes place right after their second movie. John Wick, as always played by Keanu Reeves, broke a rule from the Continental by killing a member of the High Table at the Continental and has been labeled excommunicado. And now he's on the run with a $14 million bounty on his head. With every assassin in New York City that's after him, he has to stay safe and try to survive. Now, the first film was a surprise hit. Didn't expect much from that movie, and it was great. A simple revenge story, but very well executed thanks to the action and Keanu Reeves in the lead role. This was a great action comeback and comeback overall for Keanu Reeves. And the second film, I think, is just as entertaining, not only delivering bigger and better action, but also doing what a good sequel should do, continuing the story and the world building, and I thought it was just as entertaining. Where Chapter 2 left off got me so excited for John Wick Chapter 3. I was so excited for John Wick Chapter 3. I love the first two so much, and I love the story that we're going for in this sequel, and I was super excited to see this movie, and it did not disappoint in the slightest. I had such a great time with John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. I don't know if I'll say it is my favorite John Wick film yet, but I can say this. It is neck and neck between this and the first movie. This was such an awesome action movie. I had so much fun with John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. First, the MVP of the John Wick franchise is Keanu Reeves. Whether you think overall he's a good actor or a bad actor, personally, I think he's a good actor given the right material. With these three movies, he certainly does have the right material. I truly cared about John Wick throughout this entire movie. This is John Wick at his most vulnerable. He is constantly in peril and on the run. He can't even catch the longest break while he's excommunicado. And Keanu Reeves truly gives it his all in the role. The physicality and vulnerability to role, Keanu Reeves absolutely killed it this time. And just like the first two, he did 90% of his own stunts in this movie, and he did a terrific job with the action and the stunt work as always. Like I said, it just amazes me that this guy is in his 50s and he's still doing his own stunts and making them work, and just hats off to Keanu Reeves. He did an amazing job as John Wick this time around. And a surprise standout in this movie was Halle Berry in this movie. And I gotta say, this is the best I've seen her in years. Although she doesn't have a lot of screen time in this movie, when she does have screen time, she's great. I heard she went through 6 to 7 months of training for this movie, and it paid off very well. And I have also seen some of her training with guns for this movie, and she did such a great job in the role. She was great in the action scenes, and she was an awesome addition to the franchise, and I hope this is not the last time we see of her. I want to see more of her in future movies. And what I also liked about John Wick this time around is that we got to see a bit more of his past. In the first movie, we did get to see bits of his past with him and his wife, but in this movie, we actually get to hear more about his past, the layers behind his character, his training, and his history with the Continental. And I like that we were able to learn more about John Wick's past in this movie. And the directing of this film, terrific. This is such a beautifully shot movie with amazing cinematography. The colors, the lightings in every scene. It was all amazing. And the technical aspects of this film were all very well done. And the editing and the sound design were all top notch in this movie. The action scenes in this movie, marvelous. Just absolutely marvelous. Both just as big as the second movie and both just as relentlessly entertaining. Right from the opening scene, you are in it just like that. This movie wastes no time getting into the story that John Wick is on the run and he's about to be excommunicado. And when excommunicado was about to begin, my heart was pounding. I was just like, ooh, I was getting ready. I was feeling the anticipation. I was getting ready. It was like being on a roller coaster ride. It's just like, oh, I can't wait for the excitement. It was amazing. And the reason why I love the action in this movie so much is that there's a great variety of action scenes in this movie. I would say my favorite action scene in this movie, and one that had me in complete awe, was this one scene where John Wick is fighting these guys with knives. Oh my god, that was insane. And it was brutal too. It was energetic. It had me glued to the screen. The stunt work was incredible. And these were some of my reactions during that scene. Oh my god. Oh, there were definitely moments that made me go like that throughout this movie. Not only that, there's a great sequence where John Wick is on a horse. Heck yeah, John Wick on a horse. And also a great sequence with motorcycles, and also some great combat scenes that were riveting. I absolutely love the action scenes in this movie that were all very well directed and very well edited, and the stunt work just continues to be incredible. And I could tell Keanu Reeves and the stuntmen for this movie worked very, very hard to make these stunts look good, and just the choreography and the stunt work in all three movies is all amazing. And I also thought this was a riveting story this time around. Now admittedly, the first two films didn't really have the greatest or the most original stories out there, but I didn't really mind them so much because of the action, the stunts, the directing, and Keanu Reeves in the lead, so all those reasons why I didn't mind the stories. But this film, I was really invested in the story, and I cared so much for John Wick throughout this entire movie, and I wanted him to survive so much. I was really enjoying this on-the-run story this time, and this time he has little to no help from anyone, that he's excommunicado. And this film is 2 hours and 10 minutes, and honestly, I didn't mind it. This movie flew by for me. I wasn't really bored watching this movie. I had such a great time with this movie. As for issues or nitpicks, I only have a few. One, I really liked Halle Berry's character in this movie, and I do wish she had a bit more screen time in this movie since I really liked her character. But I can see why. I don't know where she would fit in with the story, but just wanted to see a bit more of her since I really liked her and she was an awesome character. And one final flaw is at the end of the movie, there is a character decision that occurs that was very abrupt and left me confused. This movie does set up a fourth movie, but there was a particular character decision that confused me, and I could see a bit why that happened, but at the same time it bothered me a bit. But overall, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum is an amazing action movie. I don't know if it's the best John Wick movie yet, but it is tied with the first movie, so I'll have to think about it. Does such a great job at continuing what was great about the first two movies. Keanu Reeves giving it his all, the spectacular action scenes in this movie, the amazing directing, and the riveting story this time. I had such a great time with John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, and if you love the first two John Wick movies and if you're looking forward to seeing this movie, definitely go out and see this movie. I highly recommend it. And overall, I am going to give John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum 4.5 stars out of 5. Such a great action movie. If you are a fan of action movies and if you're looking for an awesome action movie for the summer, definitely check out John Wick Chapter 3. It is awesome. One of my favorite movies of the year, and so far my favorite movie of the summer since I've only seen two, and I don't count Endgame since that came out in late April, but John Wick Chapter 3, such an awesome action movie. Definitely go out and see it. And I would say watch the first two movies first and then watch this film to know what's going on, but definitely check out the first two John Wick movies and this movie. All of them are awesome, and since this film sets up a John Wick 4, and I really want to see John Wick 4 after this, I'm excited to see where things go after this. So what do you guys think of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum? Do you agree? Disagree with me? Let me know below. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot. I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.